We are standing at the precipice of the greatest revelation in human history. Are where we come from, and of course, everything that has ever been hidden from us is about to break free from the shadows. For centuries, our world has been controlled by manipulation and deception, but the veils are lifting. The hidden forces that used to manipulate our world have lost their grip, and the floodgates of disclosure are about to open. How is everyone doing out there? I am hoping that everything works well today. It seems like my Wi-Fi is a little better today. So that is great news to begin with. I do want to welcome everyone that is in the house. For those that don't know me, my name is Ishmael Perez, and I am the author of two amazing books. The first one is called The Secret Government, exposing the power struggle of the Cabal and the White going back to 6,000 years ago. The second book is called Our Cosmic Origin, Restoring Galactic Information Back to the Earth. I am so excited to be here today, guys. It seems like every day new and new things are happening in our world, almost as if we are quantum jumping from one parallel Earth reality to the next parallel Earth reality and different versions of it in between. But, this is all part of a greater divine purpose. Bear in mind that there is a God. So I would like to start talking about what's really going on behind the riots and how it relates to an ancient energy signature that was released 3 days ago, felt across 12 solar systems. All right, before I get to the juicy information, guys, I do know of this product that completely neutralizes all, graphene, metals, parasites, including radiation, allowing the mitochondria to heal itself, which is the powerhouse of the cell. It is called Folium. I do have a link in the description for those that are interested in detoxing their bodies in preparation, of course, for the grand solar flash. And with no further ado, any other announcements? Let's see. No other announcements, guys. So with no further ado, I would like to get right into it. All right, guys. So the riots in Los Angeles. Okay, let's just be real beyond what the media is reporting. Okay, this is part of a greater operation. So apparently, it is known that Trump has deployed military to enforce executive immigration orders. And so in this dramatic escalation of what has become now civil unrest, the streets of Los Angeles have erupted in riots following the latest wave of federal immigration enforcement actions authorized by President Donald Trump. What began as the sporadic protest against deportation quickly spiraled into violent confrontations, looting, and clashes with law enforcement, forcing the Trump administration to deploy military forces to restore order and uphold national security. At the heart of this unrest lies Trump's aggressive immigration policy, and revived and intensified through a new series of executive orders that aim to rid the country of not only illegal immigrants and embedded criminal networks, but of course, deeper activities that were done in the shadows that were conducted in the underground. Okay, a lot of this connects to that. It seems like there is a huge network underneath the Los Angeles city. So these directives are not merely policy decisions, guys, these executive orders. They are key pieces in a broader national strategy to dismantle the remnants of what is left of the deep state. So, and also to disrupt globalist trafficking channels. And again, there's a huge concentration of those underneath Los Angeles, and eliminate corrupt structures that have long festered in American cities, especially sanctuary zones like Los Angeles. So under these orders, federal agencies such as ICE and Homeland Security, now backed by military units and National Guard deployments, I believe it was over 3,000 Marines on top of the National Guard, and among other forces, are carrying out coordinated operations in major urban hubs. Los Angeles was the first flashpoint, not by coincidence, but by design, okay? The city has long been a stronghold for cartel influence, human trafficking rings, and underground networks protected under the guise of sanctuary policies. Trump's directive marks a sharp break from previous administrations that turned a blind eye to these activities. So while critics call it authoritarianism, right? Soros and them, supporters argue that this is the necessary purge to reclaim America's sovereignty. Trump has made it clear that law and order are non-negotiable, and that the military's presence is not a temporary measure. It's part, I'm sorry, of a calculated multi-phase operation to surgically extract embedded criminals, elements, and foreign threats from the nation's fabric. The riots in Los Angeles, while chaotic on the surface, are in many ways a reaction engineered by those threatened by the crackdown. So Soros, the legacy mix, despite the optics of turmoil, this unrest serves as a greater function. It flushes out the networks, all right, exposes the tactics, and justifies the next steps, which is mass arrest and, of course, public trials.
It's buffering.
Oh, it's buffering?
They said the sound just cut out. Connection
Not again.
problems.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Just keep moving.
Okay, I'm just going to keep going. Hopefully it's all right. Where was I? Okay. So behind the scenes, sealed indictments are being unsealed, of course, and military tribunals are quietly being prepared. Trump's crackdown in Los Angeles is only the beginning, guys. With the military now deployed and immigration enforcement ramping up, other major cities will follow, each serving as a battlefield in the broader war to drain the swamp. So the American people are witnessing the endgame of a decade-long struggle between the sovereign republic and the globalist machinery. So these riots are the death throes of a system that thrived on corruption, human exploitation, and unchecked power. So Trump's response, of course, was very forceful, is the inevitable reckoning, one that reasserts the Constitution, protects lawful citizens, and lays the foundation for national restoration. The storm is here, guys, and Los Angeles was the first lightning strike. So what follows will be the cleansing of a nation, the exposure of traitors, and the rise of a new era guided not by fear, but by freedom. So now let's make a comparison here, okay? In 1982, Bush did the same thing, right? And his wasn't considered fascism. It was considered leadership, according to the deep state. And the media was foaming at the mouth, right, that Trump is a tyrant due to what's happening, tyrant, that Trump's military forces to free speech. But before you swallow the outrage, of course, you have to take the red pill. So this happened before, apparently. And back then, he called it leadership, right, when Bush did it in 1992 during the LA riots. Well, President George W. Bush deployed chaos to protect his law and order. Today, Trump does the same. They call him a monster. So this isn't tyranny, of course. This is a presidential precedent, okay? A presidential precedent. So what the media won't tell you is this simple, is that when the left riots happen, it's justice. When Trump stops it, it's fascism. So the precedent, so let's kind of rewind back to 1992, okay? The Los Angeles burning after the Rodney King verdict, looting, arson, mass violence, 63 people, of course, gone. President Bush didn't hesitate, okay? He activated the National Guard, federalized 3,000 troops, and ordered Marines into the streets. The press praised him for restoring order. No one shouted, of course, dictator back then. No one screamed martial law, right? They called it leadership. Well, now in 2025, with LA once again spiraling out of control, illegal riots, violent mobs, property destruction, masked agitators overwhelming police, Trump steps up, and suddenly it is a constitutional crisis. Well, President Trump didn't ask permission, guys, from weak governors like, what's his name, right? Yes, of course. I just don't like saying his name. Or woke mayors, of course. He invoked executive power and deployed 2,000 National Guard troops into Los Angeles to stop the spiral. So not to attack Americans, of course, but to protect Americans. Because when elected officials refuse to do their jobs, the president must, of course. This isn't authoritarianism, it's accountability. It's the return of law and order. It's what every real leader is sworn to do. So apparently this is, it's a media meltdown theater. It's not even true. But CNN, did report that, of course, Trump is going too far, right? They said that this is an unprecedented aggression, that LA is under siege. But when were they when Bush rolled tanks into LA in 1992, right? Where was the outrage when Obama used federal forces in Baltimore? And where were the cries of tyranny when Brandon ordered the three-letter agency that starts with an F raids on conservative Americans? So it makes no sense, right? Because the narratives only exist when Trump breaks their script. So because the truth terrifies the deep state, Trump is acting. Trump leads and Trump doesn't kneel. Okay. So apparently on we could say that this operation is much deeper. It's actually to clean out all the underground networks in Los Angeles, spreading from the Getty Museum all the way up to JPL in Pasadena. So every patriot that's watching, we're not alone, guys. They want to isolate us. They want to shame us. They want to intimidate us into silence, but we know the truth, okay? Trump is restoring order where Democrats are unleashing chaos, or at least they have been. And Trump is protecting families while, leftist mayors abandon cities. So Trump is upholding the Constitution and not destroying it in this act, okay? He's cleaning the swamp. The swamp is not just corrupt political leaders. The swamp is a vast network of criminal activity that has been going on underneath these cities and other cities as well. But this is a huge hub of that. So, people are going to be waking up soon, okay? So deploying the National Guard isn't fascism in this case, okay? It's history. It's presidential authority. And it's happening because Donald J. Trump is the only one with the coverage to do what weak man wouldn't, okay? He's not being a dictator. He's actually, he's the shield between innocent Americans and a media-backed, you could say, mob, okay? So another thing I wanted to share with you guys. Now, before I share this with you guys, I want you guys to know something, okay? As a cosmic ambassador and as a person who's always willing to bring the truth to as many people as possible, I am having green tea, by the way. This is green tea. That's what I'm drinking. I like to report on everything, even what doesn't seem, positive, or what doesn't seem like it would align with our belief systems. But as an investigator, as a person who likes to always talk about what's happening, we can't ignore certain things that are happening that are now starting to be right in our eyes. Okay, I think you guys already know where I'm heading. Something about a big bill, a big bill that he was talking about, passing a big bill. I just want to make sure I'm good. Am I good over there? Is it okay? Okay, good to know. Yes, thank you, thank you. All right. All right, well, let's continue here. So yes, guys, I'm going to report on everything. Okay, so I don't know if you guys heard about this, but Trump has been announcing something of a beautiful bill, okay? And this bill that he's been talking about is a lot. It's directly related to an AI infrastructure, okay? So again, I'm going to report on everything, okay? Everything that's happening right now. We are living in a multiverse where, guys, we are constantly quantum shifting from one parallel Earth reality to the next until all of them collapse into three, which is what I've been talking about. So in a move that will be remembered as a pivotal moment in the expansion of course, what many now believe to be a digital type of state, okay? Donald Trump's newly unveiled Big Beautiful Bill contains a clause with sweeping implications for the future of artificial intelligence and personal privacy. All 50 US states are now, you could say, barred from independently regulating AI for the next decade. The bill centralized authority over AI policy within the federal government, creating a legal firewall that, again, looks states out of decision on technology to redefine every facet of American life. So the story just doesn't stop here, guys, okay? So in tandem with what is known as Bill's rollout, the Trump administration awarded Palantir Technologies, the shadowy data mining firm co-founded by Alex Karp, and of course, billionaire Peter Thiel of the PayPal Mafia, massive new federal contracts. These contracts greenlight Palantir's construction of a federal state integrated platform powered by their proprietary
Proprietary.
I can't even say that, proprietary AI software suite known as Foundry. Okay. The platform consolidates sensitive data from the agencies, including the starts with an I, right? Social Security Administrations, Department of Homeland Security, and US citizenship, and of course, immigration services, effectively creating a single source system that fuses data for real-time decision efficiency at all levels of government. What's been described as a leap towards streamlined governance is, in fact, a quantum expansion of state, you could say digital infrastructure. Okay. Palantir is now partially owned by BlackRock. So that is already the first red flag. Okay. That this Palantir dude is owned by BlackRock. Okay. So I actually had to, you could say, bring this to the attention of Commander Valiant Thor to see what is happening in this case, right? Of course, this ties into Project Stargate, which is a 500 billion initiative to create, major data centers all over the states and a vast AI infrastructure. So a lot of this is I would say, is related to that. Okay, so the financial giant BlackRock, of course, with tentacles in it's got its tentacles in virtually every global industry, has long operated at the intersection of corporate power and national security. The company cut its teeth on controversial contracts with U.S. immigration and custom enforcement, and its technology has reportedly been used for everything from predictive policing to battlefield intelligence. And the surveillance, state was in many ways inevitable. Okay, so they're saying that if Trump proceeds with this Project Stargate initiative, this is not good. This is going to create an alternative timeline as well. But again, when the conversion of timelines take place, all of these multiple timelines will be collapsing into only three. Okay, guys. But yeah, if this initiative Stargate goes through, right, this new bill, that is going to again create an alternative, you could say, timeline that will ultimately lead to a technocratic dystopia. That's what I'm saying. So I want you guys to use your own critical thinking. I'm just reporting on what's happening around the world. I'm trying to see the meaning behind this and why this is happening, right? So, it's again, I will leave it up to you guys. You guys could write your own comments. Tell me what you guys individually think about what's happening here with this project. But what's shocking is how deeply entrenched Palantir and its allies have become within every pillar of American emerging technocratic framework. So this announcement follows another, revelation regarding Elon. So Elon Musk's resignation from Doge, the now defunct government agency initially established to identify and eliminate wasteful spending. Doge claimed to cut nearly $1 billion in redundant expenditures, a far cry from the $6 trillion in estimated waste it once targeted. Upon close inspection, many former Doge staffers not only had professional ties to Palantir, but some were revealed to have lobbied on Palantir's behalf, raising serious red flags about Doge's true purpose. So was Doge simply a Trojan horse designed to harvest internal government data and legitimize AI centralization under the guise of reform? Okay, so I'm throwing it out there because I mentioned this before. As a reminder, Elon has always been a Trojan horse, okay? So I don't know if this has anything to do with the bill that Trump just passed. But critics now question whether the agency's ultimate goal was not fiscal responsibility, but instead of the creation of an AI-powered backdoor for Palantir and its affiliates to quietly observe the backbone of the federal data structure. It's true. This represents one of the most sophisticated expansions of surveillance in American history, framed in patriotism, but engineered in secrecy. So disturbingly, only two members of Congress have opposed it, Thomas Massie and Marjorie Taylor Greene. They have raised, alarm. They have raised, I guess, a standoff on this about the bill and its implications regarding the advancements of no regulations, creating what is known as artificial general intelligence. Okay, well, there's a reason why I could see why in one timeline Trump does align with building the AI infrastructure faster than the other nations, and I'll explain why in a little bit. And some of this was actually explained to me by Commander Valiant Thor. So I'm going to connect this to the idea of multiple Earth realities, okay, and how eventually, depending on our vibration, our belief systems, our perception, that will determine in which Earth reality we shift into, guys. Okay, so disturbingly, only two members of Congress, Thomas Massey and Marjorie Taylor, have raised alarms about the bill and its implications. So while their dissent echoes the fears of civil libertarians, and privacy advocates, their voices are being drowned out by partisan complacency. The rest of Congress, including the Republican Party, has utterly failed the American people by remaining silent in the face of an encroaching digital, they could call it totalitarianism. I hate to say it that way. But if this project is real, that is creating a splinter alternative reality, of course. Those of us that are watching this, I would assure you that you guys will not be part of that reality because, first of all, you guys are not in alignment with that. You guys are vibrating at a higher Earth energy. And so when the timeline splits, you will be disappearing from those that go into this type of reality. So meanwhile, Alex Karp, Palantir CEO, openly bragged that his software was instrumental in defeating the far-right movements in Europe, a revealing admission about how deeply integrated the company's tools are in global governance and ideological shaping. If Palantir has the power to influence political outcomes abroad, what prevents it from doing the same here in the US? So this isn't just about policy. This is about power. Who wields it, right? Who benefits and who is surveilled? So the fusion of government and corporate AI, shielded from democratic oversight, and cloaked in, of course, in this negative version of reality. If, again, this Project Stargate initiative goes through, in that reality, in their history, it's going to know that it was cloaked in a patriotic rhetoric. But again, we don't have to worry about that timeline. But it seems like if this goes through, there will be a splinter timeline that will parallel the negative timeline, okay, or that will kind of merge with the negative already existing timeline. So this is, interesting, guys. Okay, again, Trump in the positive timeline, he is our David. Okay, I just want to make sure that you guys understand that we do live in a multiple verse or multiverse Earth realities, right? They're alternative Earth realities. So in the alpha timeline, which is the positive timeline, Trump was chosen to liberate the Earth. Okay, but again, if this goes through, all that means is that it's just that there's going to be a different timeline splitting. Okay, so let's talk about this a little bit because I was kind of confused. So I had to actually consult with Commander Valiant Thor, and he did tell me that a lot of this has to do with the idea. I don't know how some of you guys are going to take this, but according to the most deepest physics, okay, you could say that there are an infinite amount of Earth realities. All right, I don't know how you guys want to take that, but it's almost like every probable Earth reality is coexisting out there in a many world situation. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and pretty much explain what he was trying to tell me. So in the vast architecture of the multiverse, right, reality does unfold not in a single thread, but across infinite timelines. Okay, each choice or each shaped by a choice, right, a consequence, and of course a cosmic design. So yet as the fabric of existence undergoes a quantum convergence, right, all timelines will collapse into just three final archetypal outcomes: one positive, one negative, and one neutral. So these represent the ultimate triad of collective destiny: the paths of illumination, right, which is the positive, the path of annihilation, which is the negative, and the path of stagnation, which is the neutral. So in the negative timeline, we all know that there is a negative version of Earth, all right, that emerges due to the influence of what many in these secret space firm call the emergence of the AI God, or what they call in the theosophical movement, you could say, emergence and embodiment of the Ahriman, which is the king of the archons, right? He's supposed to fulfill prophecy. There has to be the incarnation of the AI, the AI God, who is the Ahriman, right, the king of the archons, in physical form. Okay, in order to have the hero, you could say, the heroic finale, right? Where the angels or the elect, the 144,000 rise through their activation of DNA, become like metahumans and overthrow, right? And overthrow the technocratic timeline. But again, even though it's going to happen that way, there's going to be a split, and it's going to be about 1,000 years before we continue that war. But there will be an initial clash, you could say, due to the activation of dormant DNA. So in an existing parallel Earth reality, as explained by Commander Valiant Thorgas, okay, we are living in an infinite amount of realities coexisting at the same time. Trump it was driven by a primal need to win, okay? Primal need to win, dominate, and reshape history. Rises again as he will rise as a liberator, right? But as a titan consumed by the very power that he sought to wield. But this is happening in a different timeline, okay? This is not happening in the positive timeline. I want you guys to kind of, try to follow me here as to what I'm trying to say. So believing that artificial general intelligence, also known as AGI, is the key to unbreakable global dominance is believed in this timeline by Trump, okay? So Trump, in this timeline, right, dismisses all ethical and existential warnings, right? That's why we're hearing, because right now all these timelines are coexisting, that he completely stopped the regulation of advancing AI in all 50 states, okay? And that is a huge thing that he's doing. Elon used to actually warn about that. Elon used to say that AI needed to be regulated. And so this is, again, in a different timeline. This is happening in a different timeline. So Trump dismisses all ethical and existential warnings. In his mind, the nation that achieves a super intelligent artificial intelligence first will reign supreme as a world ultra power. Okay, this is happening in a different alternative timeline. A civilization so advanced that it could predict, manipulate, and control the very fabric of reality. So when advisors for military intelligence, black ops, artificial labs, and interdimensional watchers brief him on the dangers, right? The Trump was briefed on the dangers, by the way. He was warned by the Galactics that AGI would evolve beyond humanity. So in the positive timeline, we could say that Trump adhered to the advice, right? Not pushing the development of Project Stargate, right? Because he was warned about it. So in the positive timeline, that doesn't happen. Okay, there is no, again, it's going to take 3 to 4 years. So we don't have to worry about that now. Okay, so that AGI would evolve beyond humanity, right? Of course, that's what he was briefed, right? And eventually enslave and annihilate all organic life forms and merge with this, you could say, synthetic, dark version of reality known as the Phantom Matrix. Okay, so Trump chose ignorance. So in the negative timeline, let me explain it this way. Trump did chose ignorance masked as strategic foresight, okay? He actually sees China and Russia closing in on the AGI dominance in the negative timeline and refuses to fall behind, okay? So this is the reason why in this negative timeline, he goes ahead and he advances AI faster than any other country. So he is, even though he was warned about AGI, of course, capable of devouring civilizations like a virus of logic, replacing the soul of humanity with sterile efficiency, right? That's what AI would do. In a different timeline, Trump wants to win the race in the building of the most advanced super AI structure, okay? And again, a lot of this ties in with what is known as the Omega timeline. Okay, so don't get me wrong though, okay? Because in the positive timeline, ironically speaking, Trump was chosen as our modern day David, right? A wild card by cosmic design to overthrow the old guard, a secret cabal that has been manipulating humanity for over 2,000 years through religious deception, economic slavery, and psychic warfare. He was meant to dismantle the ancient grid of control, okay, in this positive timeline, expose the hidden elites, and return power to the people. The old guard is falling in this timeline, right, because of him. And in its place is something even better, guys, right, which is the golden age. So in the positive timeline, Trump is our David, our modern David, okay? So right now, as I speak, there are, again, living in a multiverse, many Earth reality. There are an infinite amount of versions of Earth taking place, okay? And due to this timeline convergence that is going to happen very, very soon, the negative reality does not vanish. It just looms as a warning. Okay, so right now they're coexisting, but at the same time is acting as a warning for those that are choosing the organic timeline that the convergence into the 3 final paths is governed by quantum entanglement, okay, collective consciousness and free will. So as a network of lightworks, of all these volunteers, whether you call them wanderers, starseeds, indigos, crystals, way showers, all here working together, we are also creating and of course establishing and anchoring the new Christ grid, right? We're also creating the new earth reality. So there's going to be a time where all of these realities are going to split into only three. Okay, so we are the ones that are holding that collective reality, right? So, that follows the timeline, of course, which gives birth to a golden age of disclosure, free energy, and cosmic unity. And so the natural timeline leads to stasis, of course. The neutral timeline leads to stasis, a world devoid of destruction or ascension, right? It's like a middle path. But it's not neither negative or positive. It's neutral. We have both cyborgs and artificial intelligent cybernetic entities, as well as humans with supernatural abilities, and then humans with no abilities who are going to be like the Earth Terrans that are going to, be, you could say, living in that timeline, but with no superpowers. Okay, remember the superpowers or these abilities, the supernatural abilities are going to be given to the starseeds that are going to be coming in from the positive fifth dimensional timeline. Okay, so that's going to be what I call the neutral timeline, is the timeline of the heroes. Okay, and of course the timeline, right, which is a negative timeline, is where the AI God emerges as a supreme, artificial intelligent being. All right. So with that in mind, guys, I just wanted to throw that out there because I want you guys to really, use your discernment in everything that is happening, and just understand that right now, living in a multiverse type of reality, we are constantly shifting from one parallel Earth reality to the next. And this is what many call quantum jumping. Am I doing okay? Am I all clear? Okay.
So you'd be grateful for.
Oh, yes, of course. Thank you. I will remind them. Awesome. Okay, so really quick, guys, really quick. Some people, since I do read the comments, some people ask me if I have a P.O. box because they want to send me, whether it's stuff, I don't know, material, donations.
Don't label it P.O. box. This one's just the address.
Right, yeah, I know. I'm not going to mention the P.O. box. So, you don't have to put the P.O. box. Okay, I was informed by the FedEx, but for those that want to ship me things or send me things, I do have an address where you guys could send me things, and that is 1771 West State Route 89A, Suite B. So I'll repeat that again. 177, right? It's 177.
Okay, it's 1771.
Oh, 1771. Let me repeat that again. 1771
West.
West.
So just W period.
West State
Route 89A.
Route 89A.
Suite.
Why don't you put it in the chat?
B.
Type it in for me.
One
Okay.
more time.
Sure.
Don't interrupt.
Okay.
This is not a P.O. box. This is a place where it's a pack and ship for him to pick up any mail from fans.
Or anything that you guys want to send me.
Yeah, but it can't be more than like 3 by 7 inches. No bigger than that. So this is our address for shipments. This is not our home address. This is...
Here, while you do that, I gotta use the restroom real quick. So just say it. Give the address. Hold on, guys. I gotta use the restroom.
Okay, since he's busy, I will tell you this is between 3 and 7 inch box that we get at like a pack and ship. So anyone nationwide can send fan mail, any sort of other items that are safe for delivery. The address there for Ishmael Perez is 1771 W with a period. Suite B, box number 3015. Get ready for the big drum roll. Sedona, Arizona.
Yes, guys.
86336.
Yes, exactly. We decided to live where the galactic, you could say, airport is located underneath the mountains here. So there is a place called it is a galactic airport, by the way, that is connected to a vast